my whole collection of PSA, I'm willing to try other companies. I've tried Beckett, I've tried CGC. I'll try tag. I'm not gonna try tag at $150 a card. Grade with whoever you want, do whatever you want.
Hey, you do whatever you like. Live! Live!
Guys, last time we watched a video of Ludwig grading with PSA, tag, and CGC. There's this video by Java Akuma, who is doing a test with tag to see if they're actually consistent. So we're going to watch that and see if tag can hold up to the scrutiny of AI being consistent across grading the same card over and over again.
This video began as another test of popular claims about tag grading, but quickly turned into something much more when one of my tag submissions during the test disappeared and was deemed a total loss. But even with these unexpected obstacles, $3,000 in grading fees later, I was able to complete the test. Even though I debunked it over a year ago now, the claim of consistency in that tag fingerprints and will recognize and reject resubmissions still permeates throughout the community. It doesn't help when certain extremely large and influential Pokemon creators constantly sing the praises of tag and even repeat these claims to their
DPM, Pat has even mentioned it. If I resubmit, they will literally identify it as the exact same card and give it the same score unless it got worse. Already tested this. So he did this test a year ago. So this is like a 1-year follow-up. He's testing it again. Good for him for spending $3,000 to test it out.
Before we jump into the submissions, let's have Tag's customer service explain exactly how the process of resubmissions should play out. My question was as follows. Good afternoon. I'm looking to grade some cards that I got at a trade show recently. I've seen people say that cards that have been graded already with Tag would be rejected on resubmission. How will I know if a card I buy is a resubbed card after I send it to you? If it is, will it be rejected for grading, or will I be notified it's a resubbed card? I know it's probably unlikely to happen. Just curious, I guess. Thanks for your time.
Okay, so one of the big claims with tag is that if you submit a card to them and they grade it, if you get it back and you crack it out of the slab and send it again, they should be able to identify that the card's already been graded by comparing the flaws of the resubmitted card with the flaws of the cards that have already been graded. So that's one of the big claims that he's going to be testing to see if they can identify that the cards he's sending have already been graded or not.
Thank you for reaching out. A card submitted to Tag previously would not necessarily be rejected as a resubmission unless the card shows new signs of alteration. The card would instead, if identified as a resubmission, be encapsulated under the previous certification number.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So they're not rejecting it. They're just saying it's already been graded, so we gave it a tag 8 last time with cert 0023. We're going to just reslab it as that exact same thing. That would be interesting. I don't know if it would happen, but like, imagine if they thought a card was resubmitted and they gave it the same cert, but it was a new card. And so now you've got 2 cards with the same certification. Probably rare to happen, but not impossible.
First, let me explain the order and details of each submission. There were 3 accounts used to complete this test. The first account is the account that was used in the previous video and is attached to my YouTube channel.
So not only did he submit from the same account, because that's what most people do, right? If you're cracking and resubmitting, you're likely just using the account you have with whatever company, whether it be PSA, CGC, Beckett. You're submitting cards, you're getting them back, you're cracking them, you're sending them again, all on the same account. So I'm glad that he is using multiple accounts to test this out, because it would be easy for a company to say, hey, Coop submitted this Squirtle card to us, and then his account submitted the same Squirtle card again 6 months later, or however long, right? 3 months, 4 months. Why don't we make sure it's not the same card, sort of thing? But with the anonymized accounts, that kind of helps hedge your bets a little bit from them being able to do that as easily.
So in an attempt to make this test as clear and accessible as possible, I only sent cards with unique attributes like swirls or unique damage. Things that should be very easy to spot, not only for you viewers, but also for tag grading. So let's take a look at the 2 submissions sent from account number 1, the Java account. These submissions consisted of 5 total cards. Card number 1, a Japanese Watsi Togetic that features a beautiful unique swirl in the bottom left-hand corner of the card. Card number 2, Japanese Don Dash Gardevoir that features a swirl to the left of the Pokemon on the card. Card number 3, Japanese Classic Collection Squirtle that features a cheeky little engraved hi written on the back of the card. Card number 4, Japanese Classic Charmander that features a decent sized scratch in the top left on the back of the card. Card number 5, an English English Gym Hero Sabrina's Gengar that features a nice swirl to the left of the Pokemon on the card. This submission was received on January 2nd and immediately processed and returned to me on January 7th. This was sent in their standard grading tier when that was
January 2nd, and he got them back on the 7th? It only took 5 days? That's fast.
So one of our 5 cards was not actually graded, and that was the Togetic. Apparently, there was evidence of recoloring, which is not something that I did and not something that I noticed when I sent the card off to be graded. One thing I find interesting is there's no dig report or any sort of report to tell me where the evidence of the recolor is. I've gotten cards back from CGC where they include a note on the card saver.
That's interesting. So, and I'm assuming he's going to pull them up, but the dig report, which is like clarity around why things got the grades they got. It shows you scans of the card. It shows you zoom ins on damage and issues that have gotten the score to go down. I'm curious why they choose not to include details on the evidence of recoloring or alteration. That's interesting.
It'd be nice if they also created a report if they rejected a card on why it got rejected.
Absolutely.
The first card we're talking about that actually was graded was the Sabrina's Gengar. It got the tag 6. You can tell that it is the same card because it has the little swirl here on the holo pattern that we showed off before we submitted. Next card is the Charmander from the Classic Collection. So this got the tag 8. And there was one main issue that we looked at, which was a scratch on the top left back of the card. And it looks like right here, that was caught in the dig report. Next up is the Classic Collection Squirtle, and this one got the tag 4. I'm pretty sure we know why. I literally said hi to the machine here. Next up is the Dawn Dash Gardevoir. Beautiful card, man. And we have the swirl to the left of the Pokemon. Now that we've gone through the results of round number 1, it's time to put Tag through their test on easy mode. Can they spot resubmissions coming from the Java branded account in back-to-back submissions with easily identifiable features? Let's find out. The cards were resent immediately after and received by Tag on January 21st. Once again, they were processed quickly through the standard tier and sent back to me on January 28th.
7 days is crazy. I don't know what the cost of the standard tier is, but 7 days to get cards back? Man, that sounds awesome. I've never had that happen.
All right, guys. Well, we have our first submission here and our second submission here. And it looks like in the second submission, they identified every card that could be regraded as a resubmission.
Every single one got marked as
identified
resubbed.
with evidence of recoloring, apparently. And every other card was identified as a resub card. Now, Deep Pocket Monster said that he performed this test, and I believe him. The problem is he ran the test on extra easy mode. He's the largest Pokemon influencer who has definitely given Tag the most exposure. Tag is going to be as consistent as possible, and they're going to know when Deep Pocket Monster submits a card.
I agree with that. If you've got clout like Pat does, a company's gonna be extra careful. I mean, it's just the nature of things.
Tag passed easy mode, but as we continue and increase the difficulty throughout the video, these consistencies begin to crack under the pressure. The biggest issue coming in part 2, where they literally misplaced my next submission for months.
Ooh.
Let's discuss the submission that was deemed a total loss. This submission was sent at the exact same time as the submission from account number 1. These cards were received by Tag on January 2nd. Card number 1 is the English Dark Dragonite from Team Rocket that features a nice swirl to the left of the Pokemon coming off the hand. Card number 2 is a Japanese Reverse Holo Eevee that was relatively clean despite some surface scratches. Card number 3, Japanese Reverse Holo Vaporeon that features a cheeky little engraved hi on the back of the card. Card number 4, Japanese Watsy Heracross that features a swirl to the right of the Pokemon's head. Card number 5, Japanese Blastoise from Galactic's Conquest that features a swirl to the left of the cannon and hand of the Pokemon. This is where things start to get a little funky. I waited and waited. 5 months of waiting later, I had finally had enough. I sent for updates daily
5 months.
and even opened new inquiries multiple times until I was told that the operations department of Tag just couldn't provide an update. The submission has been escalated to a concern of full loss. They sent me a full breakdown of a refund offer. My grading and shipping fees would be refunded, and the approximate value of each of the cards after being graded would also be refunded. All in all, to be honest, given the situation, I did feel like the compensation was going to be very fair. And then something miraculous happened. 1 week later, I was informed that my submission had magically appeared and would be shipped to me on the double. A real head scratcher, this one. I'll leave the tinfoil hat off and let you guys come to your own conclusions for what happened with this submission. After 5 months of waiting though, the cards are back.
I wonder if someone just put them on the wrong shelf somewhere. Because, like, they finished the grading process, they had been encapsulated, and then they just physically couldn't find them. They must have just messed up some sort of labeling system or something.
Dragonite Hollow, that got the tag 5. You can see here, it's got that little swirl coming off of its hand that we showed before submission. Second card is the Sun and Moon Eevee Reverse Hollow, that got the tag 8. This card definitely had some surface scratches on the front that look like they were caught here. Next, we have the Sun and Moon Reverse Hollow Vaporeon that got the tag 4. Once again, the 4 is attributed to me saying hi to the machine. You know, I just want to be in their good graces before they take over the world, okay? Next, we have the Vintage Japanese Heracross that got the tag 9. And of course, it has the nice swirl right to the right of his head. Last but not least, we have the Galactic's Conquest Blastoise that got the tag 5. That has the nice swirl over by the cannon and hand. Now, this 5-month delay really threw a wrench in my plans for this video. Originally, I was going to be sending the submissions again through the anonymous account, repeating the same test that I did through account number 1. I really wanted to test whether someone unknown to the company's submissions would receive the same level of scrutiny as someone like myself or DPM. For obvious reasons, I didn't feel like it was a good idea to resend cards through that account given what just happened. I decided to recruit a friend of mine to help me finish the test. A completely new and anonymous account with no relation or association to me in any way. Another wrench thrown into my plans is the fact that it is now May that I am sending these cards to tag and not January. All of the grading companies are experiencing insane backlogs because of a surge in popularity of Pokemon, and because of that, many of the companies have completely closed their lower grading tiers. I had to send this submission and the next submission through the priority tier. That is $150 per card so that I could finish this test.
What were the costs before that? So he was sending them at regular. Whatever he was sending at was like a week turnaround. 45 plus business days, 30 business days. 30 business days was 15. I wish it still had the price. Let me know in the comments what the prices were, but okay, so he's sent at $150 a card now.
Card number 1, Japanese Umbreon Reviving Legends that features not 1, but 2 beautiful swirls in the bottom left and right of the card. Card number 2, Japanese Espeon Reviving Legends that again features 2 swirls in the bottom left and right of the card. Card number 3, Japanese Red Gyarados that features another insanely well-placed swirl in the space surrounded by the body of the Pokemon. Card number 4, Japanese Rayquaza that features a perfectly placed swirl located in the space between the hand and tail of the Pokemon. Card number 5, Japanese Gyarados, Soul Silver Collection that again features 2 swirls in the bottom left and right of the card. Tag received these cards on May 13th and shipped them back to me on May 16th. A very fast turnaround, but it better be when I'm shelling out $150 per card. Let's once again check out the results.
Is anyone actually sending the tag at $150 a card? I mean, maybe. Is the resale value there to justify that? That's crazy.
This got the tag 8.5 and 887. Because I'm paying so much per card, I guess we can see the number out of 1,000 now. So with this particular submission and the final submission, we'll be able to see those numbers going forward. Next, we have the Espeon from Reviving Legends. This one got the tag 9, a 916, so a fairly low 9, I guess. Next is the Japanese promo Red Gyarados Hollow. This got the tag 8 and 804, just squeaked out the 8, I guess. Next, the Japanese Rayquaza Hollow from Cry from the Mysterious. This one got the tag 9, a 918, again, a pretty low 9. Last but not least, we have the Soul Silver Collection Gyarados Hollow that got the tag 9. It got a 929, so on the lower ends of 9s, I guess. Now that all of the preliminary submissions are completed, it's time to crank that difficulty up to hard mode. Every card in this video that has been submitted through tag grading is going back once more in one final massive 18 card submission. Will tag recognize that every card submitted is a resubmission, apart from a couple of decoys, of course? And if they don't, how consistent will the grades be the second time around? The cards were received by tag on July 2nd and sent back to me on July 7th. The first 5 cards we're going to look at were the initial 5 cards that were all caught as resubmissions in the easy mode version of the test.
So not a single card was caught as a resubmission when it was sent from a anonymous account. And the card that was marked twice as evidence of recoloring from the same account now has been graded a mint 9.
It did not have evidence of recoloring when it was sent from an anonymous account. Instead, it got a tag 9, a 906 tag score, and is the second highest overall Japanese graded Togetic graded by tag. Card number 2 is the Sabrina's Gengar, and look at that. The first time around, it got a tag 6. The second time around, it was caught as a resubmission and was not regraded. The third time around, it also got a tag 6, was not caught as a resubmission.
I wish the first time he'd submitted, he'd gotten the score. Because he sent out like the low tier, you don't get that out of 1,000 score. And because he had to send priority from the anonymous account, he does have the score. Because I feel like that would be a really interesting like comparison. Like then you're getting in the real nitty gritty of how consistent or inconsistent it is.
In theory, since this is the exact same card and it got the same grade that it had before, it should have been caught again as a resubmission, but it wasn't.
Okay, so he's still going to compare like the nitty gritty details. We just don't have that overall score to look at. So all the percentages are off by 1. So the first time it got graded, it was a 50-50 front, 51-49 top to bottom. On the back, 52-48, 54-46, and then all of those are off by 1%, which I would say is completely fine margin of error.
Next up, we have the Classic Collection Charmander. First time around, this card got the tag 8. Second time around, it was clocked as a resub and was sent back to me with the original certification number. Third time around, it was regraded, a tag 8.5 with an 800. Just so that we understand it's the same card, you can see that in the back top left, it has the exact same scratch that we took a look at
Still
the beginning of the video. They just bumped it a half grade, even though the card doesn't have any other improvements or issues. It's not like it missed something that it got the first time. It has the exact same scratch that it got the first time and just went up half grade. Card number 4 is the Squirtle from the Classic Collection. Now, originally it got the tag 4. The second time through, it got caught as a resubmission. The third time through, it got the exact same grade, a tag 4, and was not caught as a resubmission, despite having the most egregious and identifiable damage to the card.
Yeah, that's interesting. How could you not identify the high as a resub? It really feels like they're only comparing it when it's coming from the same account. So because if you think about their process for identifying resubs, if you only have to compare from the account, they can look at an account and say, okay, this person has submitted a Classic Collection Squirtle one time. Let's compare it to that Squirtle. Okay, it's got high written on the back. It's the same one. As opposed to comparing it to every single Classic Collection Squirtle that's ever been graded by tag. It's a lot easier to look at a much smaller sample size, but who knows what their process looks like. But I mean, we saw firsthand here, again, this is one data point. When it came from the same account, they were able to identify it as a resub. When it came from a different account, they were not.
So last card of the original easy mode submission, this was the Gardevoir from Don Dash. So this got a tag 8 originally, was recognized as a resubmission the second time around. The third time around got a tag 9, a 902. So just barely squeaked out the 9. So the first time around, we had 3 corner dings, 2 edge dings, and 1 surface ding. So the second time around, we are missing 2 edge dings and 1 ding on the corners, which probably attributed to why the card went from an 8 to a 9.
I think sometimes it thinks hollow patterns are issues. Well, I guess, is it looking at this or is it looking at literally the edge right here? I guess, I don't know. Because I think this, if it's counting this is the foil pattern. But I'm assuming it's talking about like maybe some slight whitening. I can't zoom in really. But I mean, consistency. So we've missed some stuff. The first card was the Togetic that was identified as altered the first time or recolored, but then was graded. We've seen a half grade increase, an 8 to an 8.5, and now we've seen a full grade increase, an 8 to a 9.
The next 5 cards were the 5 cards resubmitted from the sub that got lost for 5 months. And surprisingly, it contained the only card that was identified as a resub in this final 18 card submission, and that is this Vaporeon. The Vaporeon Reverse Holo originally got the tag 4. This was one of the cards that I wrote high on the back of. The second time around from the anonymous account, it was caught as a resubmission. Interestingly enough, the next card is the Dark Dragonite Holo. Originally, it got the tag 5. The second time through, it got the tag 6. A lot of these cards are going up in grade, and they are very obviously the same cards. This is one of our English cards, so I want to check the centering measurement first. We got a 46.
You'd expect if you're cracking and rehandling and submitting it, and then people at the company are handling it and it's being, re-encased and stuff, you have a higher chance of actually damaging or doing something to the card that would cause the grade to go down. But we're seeing every scenario so far, the grade has gone up when the grade has changed.
Both measurements on the front were different, and the top to bottom measurement on the back was different.
1 to 2%, well, it's a whole so 1 to 2 whole percentage points. I mean, the margin of error we're talking about, I feel like is acceptable. 1 to 2 percentage when you're measuring centering, but you'd think that AI would be the most accurate at being consistent with measuring the centering. Obviously, the dings are different. You've got 4 dings on the corners on the first time, half as many on the second time, no dings on edges the first time, a ding the second time, an extra ding on the surface the second time. So, I mean,
And again, the actual dimensions
Consistency,
of
yeah,
the
it doesn't
card
feel
are
like it's so
somehow
far.
slightly different as well. It looks like we have some pretty decent discrepancies in dings here as well. We've got 4 back corner dings and 2 surface dings, one on the front and one on the back. Here we only have 2 back corner dings, 1 back edge ding, and 3 surface dings, 1 on the front and 2 on the back. So we have 6 overall dings on the 5, 6 overall dings on the 6. And yet we've gone up an entire grade.
Same amount of dings, but a full grade higher.
We also, next up, we have the Sun and Moon Reverse Hollow Eevee. Originally, this got the
full
tag
grade
8.
increase.
I sent it personally, I feel like the 8 makes a lot more sense on this card than the 9. Because if you look at what the 8 actually caught the first time around that the 9 didn't, you've got some pretty significant like edgeware stuff happening here that was on the front of the card. And again, very interestingly, this is the second card that we saw where a lot of the front damage was not actually caught the second time around. We have some corner wear here in the bottom left, and then you have a lip here or some sort of damage here on the edge, both of which were not caught here at all. Now, we did have the surface kind of scratches slash, actually, this is completely different. The items caught the first time around are completely different from the items caught the second time around. There's a surface defect here and apparently a print line on the back. But the first time around, all the damage caught was on the front. This is blowing my mind. You would think that these are 2 completely different cards. And thankfully, there's enough damage on the front of this card that I can point out to you that they are not completely different cards. We have this smudge or dirt or some sort of issue up here on the top right of this little letter, which is the same over here. We've got a smudge and an issue over here right below on the description, which is right here. We've got another one kind of down here in the corner from the attack description, which is right here. Actually, it looks like there's almost even more stuff on the right here than there is on the left of smudges and fingerprints and things. Next up, we have the Japanese Vintage Hollow
Okay, this one
Heracross.
stayed the same.
Now, originally, this got the tag 9, and on resubmission, it got the tag 9, but it wasn't caught as a resubmission like it should have been. So the centering on the original 9 was a 46, 54, 43, 57 on the front, and the centering on the 9 the second time around was a 47, 53 and a 44, 56. So the left to right was a little bit worse the second time around, and the top to bottom was a little bit better the second time around. The second time around, it looks like we beat the first grade as we have the first highest 9 rank here and the second highest 9 rank here. And of course, lastly, we just have to make sure that it's the original card. So we have that fat swirl right next to his head, and we also have all of these orbs. You can kind of see this big cluster of orbs
So
right
just
here
that
by
margin
the
of
border,
error for the
right next to
centering.
the swirl. So last card of the round 2 of submissions was the Galactic Conquest Blastoise. First time around, it got the tag 5. Second time around, it barely squeaked out the tag 6 with a 601 score. So it looks like we have both the corner issues. We've got this one here, which looks like it matches up here, and this one, which is much more severe, which looks like it matches up here. We also have this back bottom right edge corner issue, which looks like it matches up to this one here. And then we have these two, which are just non-existent over here. Looks like front top left surface dent and a back top right surface defect. These were caught the first time around, not caught the second time around, probably attributed to why this card went from a 5 to a 6. These last 5 cards are the 5 cards that were submitted from my buddy's anonymous account. These 5 cards were submitted in back-to-back submissions.
Okay, so because these were sent from the first anonymous account as their own sub, they were sent at priority, so we do have the overarching score to compare against. So an 8.5 went to a 9, it was 887, and now it's a 946.
And not a single one of them was caught as a resub. Now, technically, this one shouldn't have been caught as a resub, but I don't know if it should have gone up in grade either. So first time around, this card got a tag 8.5. Second time around, this got a tag 9. Hello?
It caught nothing the second time.
Bro, look at this. This is crazy. The amount of stuff that was identified here that wasn't identified, that's just insane to me, man. Here we go.
That is kind
In
of
case
crazy
you
to
guys
have
are wondering,
5
we
dings
have half swirl
and then
in the bottom
0.
left. Next card is the Japanese Espeon from Reviving Legends Hollow. This one originally got the tag 9 and on resubmission got the
grade,
tag
just
9.
a little higher
Should have been
score.
caught as a resubmission based on
It's interesting that every single card has gone up somehow. Well, I guess every card that has changed grades has gone up. And then even these new ones that might have the same grade, the score, the overall score is still higher.
So it must have caught pretty much the same stuff if I had to guess. Probably not too different here. So this has some surface playwear on the back. Surface playwear on the back. Okay, that makes sense. Scratches on the back, scratches on the back. We've got a surface defect in the back top right that wasn't caught over here. And we have a bunch of stuff here. Front top left, surface playwear, back top center, and then back top left, corner issue, all of which this stuff was not caught the second time around, and this went up in grade, correct? Slightly. It went up in grade 29 points. Next up is the Japanese Red Gyarados promo. Originally got the tag 8. On resubmission, it got the tag
Pretty close
8.
score.
Only an 8-point difference. Should have been caught as a resubmission. It wasn't. So let's see if this one, come on, you can do it, guys. You can do it. We got one corner ding. We got one edge ding. We got one surface ding. Okay, it's only missing one ding. We've got the top left issue. Yes. We've got the surface scratches on the back. Yes. And then we have some corner wear apparently on the front bottom right. Another piece of front damage that was not caught the second time around. Next, the Rayquaza Hollow from Cry from the Mysterious. This originally
the first
got
one
a
to go
9
down
and a
in
918
grade.
tag score. Second time around, it got an 8.5. Okay, at this point, I'm just confused. At this point, I've been confused for the last few cards, but at this point, I'm just really confused. The first card that got a 9 has 2 dings, including centering. The second card, 1 ding. Somehow, the second card went down in grade from the first card. So we've seen cards go up in grade because of stuff that's missed. Apparently stuff was missed the second time around and the card went down in grade. See, this is why I say that these reports are great, but they're just inaccurate. They're just like completely inconsistent and inaccurate. So when people say, oh man, you know what's so great about tag is they give you the report, you understand why it got the grade you got. No, I don't.
See, I think he needs to scroll down and look at, because don't they give you like the scores down in the ding map at the bottom? That's where I want to see more detail from him to figure out like why. Because just looking at the dings right there, this surface playware, I don't know, maybe it was like really messed up the score. I don't know enough about how tag actually comes up with their numerical value.
You would assume, if you were being honest, that the card on the left was a lower grade than the card on the right, based on the amount of dings that the system caught, correct? I would. That makes sense. But apparently that's not how it goes. A card can go down in grade with less dings being caught by the system. Listen to how that sounds. It doesn't make sense. That's why even these reports that are so cool should be taken with a grain of salt. Because if you sent it back again, you'd probably get a different report.
I think the biggest thing to take away is all dings are not made equal. So just because it's identified as a ding, each ding has its own numerical value and how much it detracts from the overall score.
Last but certainly not least, we have the Soul Silver Collection
9 to 10, the first
Gyarados
10.
Hollow. Originally, this was a tag 9 with a score of 929. It upgraded pretty heavily to a tag 10 with a 988. That is again a 59-point increase in the tag score just between submitting once and submitting again. Yeah. So there were 2 dings caught on the report on the left, no dings caught on the report on the right. Apparently there was some edge wear on the front. There was some scratches on the front top center of the card as well. How many cards is this now where the front damage that was identified on the cards the first time is not showing up on the second time scan? It's almost every card. And this increased from a 9 to a 10 with a pretty sizable increase in the actual tag score. To review, I compiled all of the results in a nice little color-coded chart. So I want to talk about some of the standouts. One of the biggest standouts being the Togetic. So the Togetic twice was identified as having evidence of recolor. And then I sent it in a third time from the anonymous account and it got the 9, literally one of the highest grades of this card in a tag slab. Another thing to note is we only had one card go down in grade. Otherwise, all the cards either went up in grade or stayed the same. That one card was the Rayquaza Hollow that went down a half grade from a tag 9 to a tag 8.5. We had 7 cards go up in grade at least half a grade, with 5 of them going up an entire grade. We had 5 cards that came back the exact same grade the second time around as the first time around, and according to tag and reiterated by DPM, they should have been caught as resubmissions like the very first sub was, but they weren't. And the only one card that was caught as a resubmission was the Vaporeon with the high written in the back of it. That was caught as a resubmission and sent back as its original certification number.
What I would want to see though is the Java account submit the same cards but in a larger submission. I mean, he literally sent the exact same submission, right? The same 4 cards, or excuse me, the same 5 cards because the Togetic, the exact same 5 cards in one sub. If you take those 5 cards and put it in a much larger sub, would they still identify all of them as resubs from the same account? I mean, we see here, of the 18 cards resubmitted, only one of them was identified as a resub, when all 18 of them should have been identified as a resub. So, especially the Togetic that they said was recolored, and now all of a sudden they're grading it. So, I think the claims of consistency, again, this is a single data point, guys. You would need many more of these to have the statistical significance we would need to justify whether or not the company can be claimed as consistent or inconsistent. But from Java's point of view, and especially because it sounds like he did this same test a year ago and found that it was inconsistent. I think the resubmission thing is interesting because it feels like a risk to be identifying resubs when you could claim something has been resubbed, give it the same certification, the same grade, and it not be. So it seems like a bigger risk. And I feel like that's why they're more willing to do that when it's coming from the same account versus a completely different account. Because if I submit a card that I know isn't resubbed and they say that it is, it gets a little hairy. But I mean, just from this, you can see that the grades are changing, right? What did he say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them have gone up in grade. Even the ones that were the same, the score increased, the overall score increased when we could see the overall score. Some by 8 points, some by 58 points out of that 1,000. Whether or not tag is consistent, this one data point says they're not really. I will say it's really cool to see the flaws that tag identifies, to be able to look at that detailed report. But I think to make the claim that they're always going to be able to identify resubbed cards, that they're always going to be consistent, I don't think we have the data that really proves that right now.
Last but not least, we had a couple cards in here that I did send as decoys. So there was a Dark Dragonite decoy. There was also a Charmander and a Squirtle decoy. And it's true, the dig reports are awesome. They look really cool, but they are not useful. And I proved that in this video. Despite how cool it looks, it doesn't actually tell you why you got the grade that you got. Because if I can send a card in once and it gets 5 dings and the second time through it gets 1, how useful is that report really? The consistency in the dig reports is just as bad as the consistency in the grading and everything else that the company does. At the end of the day, the company that you grade with should be who you want to grade with. Which slab do you like the most for your personal collection? Which company is going to make you the most money for your business? Those are the things you should be thinking about when choosing who to grade with. Not jumping on Team Tag or Team PSA or Team CGC and fighting for them in the comments section.
He's very right about that. You shouldn't be on a team. There shouldn't be a team. And I know people are going to jump in my comment section and be like, but you're a Team PSA. Oh, you're sponsored by PSA. I'm not sponsored by PSA. I'm in their affiliate program, which I'm pretty sure people can join, and it's basically just a referral link, right? If you click on the PSA affiliate link and you submit with them, you get $25 off, and I get $25. Like, it's a kickback, right? If Tag wants to join me to their affiliate program, I'll join that one. If Beckett wants to invite me to their affiliate program, I'll join that one. If CGC wants to invite me to their affiliate program, I'll join that one. You guys can grade with whoever you want, right? I have my whole collection of PSA. I'm willing to try other companies. I've tried Beckett. I've tried CGC. I'll try Tag. I'm not going to try Tag at $150 a card, but I'll try Tag when their lower submission tiers, open back up. So I think he's made some really great points. I think at the end of the day, all grading companies are likely going to have inconsistencies. Tag has been the most vocalized by people that it's the most consistent because it's AI and they always catch everything, and then they're they can catch resubmissions, they can catch cards that have all these different flaws. But from this one data point, we've seen that the consistency is not quite there. There were some cards that stayed the same grade, even if their overall grade changed, like the out of 1,000, but they still missed things. They missed a ding here, they missed a ding there. And then we had grades that went up by full points or half a points, and things were completely missed. So yes, there are inconsistencies. I don't think this claim that they're this ridiculously consistent resubmitted company is accurate necessarily, but again, I'm not saying that any other grading company is superior in any way, shape, or form necessarily, but I think this is a really interesting experiment. I would want to see resubmissions happen from the same account in larger submission pools instead of the exact same submission. I think it is very easy, as he said, for them to catch resubmissions from the same accounts, and I think we saw when it was sent by an anonymous account that they didn't catch the submissions or the resubmission. So anyway, that's what I got for you. Grade with whoever you want. Do whatever you want. I'll join whatever affiliate program's available. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.